After Heihachi was defeated in the first Tekken tournament, his rivals threw him off of a cliff. They should have found a bigger cliff! The craziest thing about Tekken 2 is that it was developed in 1 year. This is one of those sequels that makes the original game look like a prototype, vastly improving in every direction. The human characters look like people, and the bear character looks like a bear instead of whatever this animal is, although he still looks like a beaver at the character select screen. Most importantly, Tekken 2 was the game to set the template for how the series would continue to evolve, boasting double the amount of moves and combos of the original game. Hey, yo! A number which far surpassed competitors like Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter, but was still dwarfed by its main inspiration, Virtua Fighter 2. However, Namco wasn't simply trying to replicate Sega's success on the PlayStation, they were going to war with Virtua Fighter. On paper, Yu Suzuki's series had more strategic depth, but in practice, Tekken ends up being the deeper game, and that's because people can actually execute the moves in Tekken. Everything about Tekken was more intuitive and user-friendly, inputs were easier, combos had more lenient timing, punish windows were more obvious, even Tekken's AI played more fair. Where Virtua Fighter's AI was running 12 different scams on the player, Tekken was only running 3. Are you finished? Tekken 2 was also where the developers started cranking up the coolness factor. Virtua Fighter was very reserved, very classy. It was more like, shall we duel? Tekken said, let's have a boxing dinosaur fight a robot for $1 trillion bill. You have not experienced the true battles of life until you have fought King in a dark church with the sunlight beaming down through the stained glass windows, and this song comes on. Perfect. Even by Tekken standards, this soundtrack is phenomenal. It gets you hyped up, but it plays it cool. It's high energy, but not high volume. Paul's theme comes in with these horns going over the stand-up bass, and then Herbie Hancock comes in on the theremin or some shit. Law's theme going way down to those low notes. Then you got a dude playing piano in the club. Story-wise, there's some interesting stuff happening here. June drives a school bus out to a forest so that she can play with a chipmunk. Wang's ending teases the character Jinpachi, who wouldn't appear until Tekken 5. King is staring at a video of real people, and then all the little kids come out to play with King, and he goes, yay! Unfortunately, the orphanage is running out of money and King has turned to heavy drinking. The coolest thing to me is how the main characters swapped roles. This time, Heihachi is the protagonist and Kazuya is the final boss. During the final battle, Heihachi jumps in front of a laser beam to save Kazuya's life. Kazuya's stunned. Then he smiles. And he grabs Heihachi and uses him as a shield to block laser beams from the devil man. and he chucks him at the Because of this, Heihachi throws Kazuya into an active volcano, because he threw him off of a cliff, when he was only 5 years old. Ultimately, Tekken 2 is a story of fathers and sons. Looking back, all of these years later, we see the series in its infancy, full of promise and creativity, with greater things still yet to come.